Welcome back to Relatable Wisdom, the podcast where everyday people share the quotes that shaped how they see life, offering you daily doses of perspective and connection that might just change how you navigate your own journey. Today's guest is Jeff Revilla, a creative entrepreneur who spent over 2 decades bringing people together through digital innovation. He's built something truly unique in Pennsylvania, a live podcast theater where stories come alive on stage, blending his love for community with his gift for creating spaces where authentic conversations can flourish. Let's step into Jeff's world and discover the words that guided his remarkable journey. Tell us your name and what you do.
Hey, my name's Jeff Revilla. I opened a podcast theater in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I think it's one of the first in the world. If you want to come in and do live shows, you can entertain a live audience with your podcast. Love to have you.
Well, thank you for accepting my invitation to be on the podcast, Jeff.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Good morning
Yeah.
to you. It's a good
Yeah.
night for me. It's almost bedtime here.
Yeah, it's morning for me. Well, it's still night. When technically it's still night. Mine is 2:21 a.m. So it's still night. Everywhere's still dark.
Oh, you're up very early today.
Okay. What's your favorite quote?
Well, my favorite quote is, I like this one a lot, and it sounds negative at first, but when you really understand the meaning behind it, I really love this quote, "No one cares." No one cares is something that I really built a career off of.
Okay. When you say you build career off of no one cares, what do you mean by that?
Well, it took me a while to really fall in love with podcasting. I didn't want to go on camera. I didn't want to hear my voice. I thought it was like cringy and like, oh, like, you know, how some people are when they hear their voice for the first time. And I'm not the most camera beautiful person. I don't need to be on television or anything like that. And I kept thinking about these things, and it kept holding me back from recording my first show. It kept holding me back from getting on the microphone and getting in front of the camera and meeting people from all over the world. And then I realized I'm the only one thinking about these things about me. Nobody else is thinking about me. They have to get their kids to soccer practice, or, they got bills to pay and groceries to buy. If they chose my podcast for whatever reason, my only goal or my only obligation to them is to give them 30 minutes of content that helps them escape. It helps them be entertained, helps them laugh a little bit, helps them maybe think a little different. They're not thinking about how I look or sound on camera. They just want to have 30 minutes of fun or thought-provoking conversation. They're not thinking about me the way I think about me. I'm the only one in the world thinking about my voice, my appearance, and that's holding me back. No one cares. No one's thinking about you the way you think about you. And all those thoughts that you have about yourself, you're just holding yourself back. No one else is thinking about you the way you do. I promise you.
Yeah. Can you tell me the exact moment you decided to start podcasting despite thinking nobody would want to hear my voice or see my face?
Yeah, it was really in like 2014. I had a show I tried before that, but I got hung up on my own thoughts and I'd stopped doing it. And then about 2014, I was really in love with a podcast called Good Job Brain. It was like a trivia show where 4 friends got together and they would have a topic, and each of them would have like some sort of perspective on that topic. Maybe it was a game or a quiz or a story. And they really tied this great show together, but it got kind of unstable around 2014, and they broke up a little bit or went on hiatus. And I was like, man, I really wish I had that show back. And I loved it so much. I was like, I'll just do my own show. And I called it Stuff I Never Knew. And it was supposed to be like stuff I never knew about apples or stuff I never knew about farming. And it was supposed to have like a theme. It was really, the blueprint was Good Job Brain, but it evolved into something else before I launched it. But it was almost like I wanted to fulfill this void in my life of not having that show. How can I create a show that I'd want to listen to? And so I got over I was like, no one's going to do it but me. If I don't do it, who? If I don't do it now, then when? Like, when is this going to happen? And so I stepped forward. I just recorded. I had my sister and my friend on for the first episode, and we just did it. We had the best time. I had so much fun. I'm on like episode 200 of that one, and the last 70 of them we've actually made for television. They air on local television in the Pittsburgh area.
Oh, I'm curious, right? I know that you realized something, right? That kind of flipped the script for you that's flipped everything and made you move from reluctance? And what was that revelation?
Yeah, I mean, it was like I have everything set up. I bought all the equipment. Like, what am I doing not using this? Right. And it goes back to that idea that if somebody's going to listen to this, they've already chosen me. They've already gotten over the hurdle of what I might sound like or what I might look like. They don't even care about that stuff. They want the entertainment. And if I'm going to be an entertainer or consider myself somebody who entertains people, then if we've made that connection through a podcast download, then I need to deliver on that guarantee that I'm going to give the best entertainment I can for that 30 minutes.
Yeah. Could you, I know it's been a long time now, but could you walk me through what was going on in your head the first 5, 10 seconds when you hit record?
It was kind of a perfect storm because there was a platform that was emerging at that time called Blab. And Blab was way ahead of its time. It was one of the first 4 in the box live streaming services. It was a square with 4 pictures in it. And it had this social element that when you went live, it would notify the network and the network would come flooding into your room to watch the live stream.
Yeah.
Within 3 minutes, there'd be 30 to 50 people. So because I had this hesitancy to start this, but at the same time, the platform I chose to record on was Blab, and Blab had this social element that delivered guests to your room.
Let's take a quick pause. If you're enjoying this conversation and want more thought-provoking ideas straight to your inbox, join the Relatable Wisdom email list. It's free, quick, and filled with bite-sized insights, inspiring quotes, and behind-the-scenes reflections from our guests. Just head to relatablewisdom.com/join. That is relatablewisdom.com/join, or tap the link in the show notes. And hey, subscribing to the podcast helps more than you think, and it's free. So if you haven't already, hit that follow button wherever you're listening. All right, let's get back to the conversation.
I had to deliver in real time, real fast. So because Blab was becoming a thing and because I was getting over my hangups, they meshed together so perfectly that I was able to entertain, 8 people at a time. We'd have contestants, 8 contestants per show back then. And I had to get through it and I had to be the best I could to make it a fun and entertaining show.
Oh, what would you say? Were you surprised when you started recording? Because you had this mind. Oh, people, what will people say about my voice? What will people say about my face? All those things. But when you started recording, what were some of the mind-shattering realization you had? That
Yeah, it was like, wait a second, these people are having fun with me. Like they're laughing with me. How are they enjoying this? If I sound atrocious, if I look hideous, why are they having such a good time? None of those things were things that they were thinking about. I was thinking about those things. They were there to have fun, play a game, be competitive, talk trash with each other. Like it was a hangout. And that's all I realized. It was just like friends at a restaurant or a pub. You're just hanging out and you're connecting with each other. And that's what a podcast is. It's 2 people having a conversation, just like this. We're having a good time, having a conversation, laughing a little bit. And that's what this is all about. It's connecting with people around the world, having a good time. And just like you would hang out with your friends, you can now do that and call it a podcast.
Yeah, that's what the podcast you described. Good job, Brain. It's just 4 guys hanging out together and say, yeah, I've not listened to the podcast, but I've listened to other podcasts with the same concept like that. And so it's basically 4 guys. They just sit there and they're talking about what they learned and having fun about it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and you can recreate that in your own voice, in your own with your own ideas, your own show. A lot of things in life you learn from people who have come before you, right? They've paved the way, they've shown you the path, and it's okay to when you learn something to try to emulate that, to be like them, to be a better version of yourself. But what you want to do is take all the things that you have inside you and create that in your own voice. You want it to become your own thing. You're going to be inspired by the people who came before you. You're going to learn from them. You don't want to just copy them and rip them right off. You want to make something that's your own based on the things that you've learned. So that's a good lesson to learn is, don't copy the people you've learned from. take what they've given you and make something new that's your own.
Yeah. Looking back now, it's about 11 years since 2014. And what's the one fear, or even maybe more, you wish you had faced sooner? And how would you
Ooh.
confront it today?
Yeah, I mean, some of the fears I had was the ability to repeat this week after week. Like, how am I going to do this? That's a lot of work. Like when you have your own podcast, everyone thinks it's funny. You just hit record and then it's over. But there's hours of writing questions, hours of
Yeah,
setting up the screens, and I make 10 videos for every episode that are part of the final round, and I got to book guests, and like, how am I going to do this week after week after week? And it turns out I didn't. I do it in batches. I call them seasons now. We're on season 6. So yeah, the amount of work is overwhelming for a lot of people, and I don't think people understand how much goes into making a podcast. So getting over that, like, this is going to bury me. Like, I already have a full-time job. I got a family. I got kids. I got to make a podcast now. It takes 8 hours, 10 hours a week to put this thing together. So, how do you get over that? How do you do that week after week?
yeah. Okay, so how would you, now that you know what you know and you've gone through this for 10 years, 11 years, how would you confront it if you were to say, if you had started this podcast with all this knowledge you have now, if you're starting this podcast again, let's say something, you're just starting afresh.
Yeah, I think I would include the audience in the creation of the game more. Instead of relying so much on me bringing all the work, I would I would develop games that there was more audience participation and it wasn't dependent on this is the question and this is the answer, but it was maybe this is the topic and the audience will fill in, the
Yeah,
requirements for the topic. That way I'm not writing, 60 questions an episode. I'm maybe coming to the episode with 10 topics and we play different games around that. And I've developed other shows since then where I do an interview show where it's great, just like this one-on-one. I love the conversation. I love the backstories and the hero journey to where they are today. That's fun. And I spend more time in prep because I'm doing research. I create a song for each guest. We do the recording, but the editing is like an hour and it's so easy. I love having an interview podcast compared to if you look at Stuff I Never Knew, where we now have a producer and the cable company puts it all together, but
yeah.
there's pop-ups and sound effects and videos popping and things sliding in. Like, I don't want to edit that
Uh,
anymore. So
yeah. Yeah. Well, if you're doing one, it's stressful. But by the time I mean, it's fun for those who love it, but nah. Mine is just to
y-
show up and have the conversation. And let
yeah,
someone do the
this is the
editing.
way to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I kind of envy those people who they do live streams and that's their podcast. They live stream their podcast. That's nice. Once they finish the live stream, they're done and they move on to the next one. That's fantastic.
And they walk away. That's it. Like, that's the
Yeah,
recording and
that's it.
we're done.
What yeah. Mine, I'm like, okay, I sometimes I feel like I spend more hours rec- editing than actually recording for each an hour episode can take maybe 2 hours editing. And I'm like, oh, I could have just recorded two extra episodes. What was I even doing?
Yeah. And I do another show that's a news show. It's only 10 minutes. I do it once a week. It's a 10-minute news show about live podcasting around the world. So if there's a live event that happens, kind of trying to tie it in with the theater that I opened up.
Yeah.
But to do that 10-minute show, I probably spend 1 to 2 hours a day going through articles, trying to find the 6 stories. It's a 6-story podcast. It takes 10 minutes to record and I'm done. But to get to those 6 stories is probably, you know, 6 to 8 hours of research to
Oh,
find those. So that's the opposite of the trivia show where the heavy lifting is up front.
yeah.
The recording and editing are super easy.
Yeah. Oh, okay. You built PodDuty.com to help others. What part of your own hangups did you aim to solve when you launched it?
Yeah, I wanted to have a fun hangout place. Like, I really think podcasting is so much more than just on a Zoom call or recording on a virtual message. I think there's a whole social element that we're not even tapping into. And I wanted to, like, I do a trivia show, obviously, with people from around the world. Like, it's a show where we're hanging out, but what if I could do that with the people in the room? What if we could have like a live game show, a live stage where we're performing a show for people in the audience? And then that audience who's watching it doesn't necessarily have to be in the theater because we surrounded the stage with cameras. That audience could be anywhere. So basically, what this little studio, as you see behind me, it's a small television studio where we can broadcast a show out to the world using the internet. We can sell tickets. We can record it. We can give the creators their recording back to release as a future episode. We can build the landing page for them. There's so much we can do just out of this little 1,600 square foot room.
Yeah. Yeah. I quickly, I just want you to share one story. What's now that you've been running PodDuty, what's to empower creators? What's the story of someone you've seen push past their hangups because of the platform?
I've had a couple people come in who were really, really nervous. This is a different environment. Like, where we're safe, we're both in our home studios right now recording, and it's easy, right? I can come into my office, I can flip a switch, my computer comes on, my lights come on, my microphone's set up, I know I'm going to sound good. It's a very safe environment. It's an environment where I know that things are just going to work. When you get people out of that environment and you put them on a stage in front of an audience plus a live stream, people get nervous. They're not in their safe zones anymore. They're relying on me producing their show for them. They're relying on me pulling slides and videos and pictures up when they need it. It's not a safe space until they learn to trust me and we work together a few times. So you see people come in and sometimes they're just pacing the room hours beforehand, and they have all this nervous energy. They haven't been on stage before, and you watch them transform when the lights go up and the crowd applauds and they take the stage. You watch all that energy dissipate, and they're in the zone. They're over their fears, and they're performing the show the way that they wanted to do it.
Oh, okay. When one of the key takeaway you mentioned that you wanted my listener to take from this episode is, if you are hung up on something, I guess I'll have to read it. Yeah. If you are hung up on something, it's because of you. What does that mean?
Yeah, that really ties back into the no one cares. Like, if you're hung up on something, it's only you that's thinking about it, right? The people around you aren't thinking about you the way you think about you. So get over it. It's not, you're the only one that's holding you back. I promise you.
Yeah, I guess those words would always be running in my head. If you hung up on something, it's because of you. It's not that big a deal.
Yeah, that's it. It's 100% you 100% of the time.
Well, thank you so much, Jeff. Where can my listeners learn more about you and PodDuty?
Yeah, check out the site. You see what we're building here. We're building something pretty special. It's PodUty.com, PodDuty.com. We have our upcoming events. We have the business model. You can see how you can use the place or rent the place. If you're curious about doing something like this in your hometown, reach out to me. I spend many nights a week talking to people from around the world who want to copy this model. And I want to see these small clubs pop up so that podcasters can go perform a show. They can go have a night out and meet new people in real life, in front of each other, shake hands, talk, get feedback right away from their episodes. And it's a very important part. Something that we're missing in society is we need more social interactions. And this is a way to do it. This is a way to connect with people who are like-minded. They think the way you think because they're coming to see your show, whatever you're producing. They like what you're doing. So go out, meet people in your community who like what you do.
Yeah. Wow. Once again, thank you so much. It's been an absolute delight chatting with you.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
You've been listening to Relatable Wisdom, and I've been your host, Wisdom Okonkwo. You've been listening to the podcast where every story, quote, and insight helps you see life a little differently. If you enjoyed today's episode, follow the show on your favorite podcast app and share it with someone who loved the conversation. For more inspiring voices and timeless wisdom, visit relatable.wisdom.com. Until next time, keep living, learning, and collecting wisdom that matters most to you.